Tension between UK and EU keep rising as Boris conflict with Macron erupt over fishing rows. Boris Johnson was warned that more fishing rows with the EU are likely to erupt following Britain's licensing conflict with France, according to fishing industry leader Boris. French fishermen are preparing to block the Channel Tunnel and the port of Calais. It is in protest at the UK's failure to grant them more fishing licenses since Brexit. Members of the Fishermen's Association said a large number of vehicles will be used to block the tunnel. It will likely disrupt the trade in goods that go back and forth between the UK and France by road and rail. The two are currently at loggerheads over a number of issues, including the migrant crisis. The fishing row surrounds a dispute over the number of licenses the UK has allocated to French boats to allow them to fish in British waters since the UK left the EU's rules and regulations behind earlier this year. A Downing Street spokesman said the government is disappointed by threats of protest activity. They continued, "It will be a matter for the French to ensure that there are no illegal actions and that trade is not affected. We continue to monitor the situation closely. The row will likely be one in a string of further friction between the UK and EU over fishing," according to Boris, chief executive of the National Federation of Fishermen's Organisations, NFFO. He told Express.co.uk, "Going forward, yes, I think there's the potential for more friction. As we diverge from the common fisheries policy, I think there will be scope for more friction. There's a legal obligation on both the UK and the EU on the UN law of the sea and a moral obligation, because we share stocks. If we don't manage them in a proper way, the fisheries and the stocks are under jeopardy. There will be spats, but there's this overriding obligation to act in a cooperative way, but you do get spats between coastal states. The obligation Mr. Dees speaks of has yet to come into play between the UK and France. Paris is angry that the UK and Jersey have denied fishing licenses to dozens of French boats in recent months. As part of the post-Brexit deal, boats were told they would be given licenses if they could provide historical evidence of working in the area. France says that for the 6 to 12-mile zone off Guernsey and Jersey, 210 licenses have so far been granted, whereas it requested 454. Authorities say only about 20 of Boulogne-sur-Mer's 112-strong fleet are permitted to fish in that zone. But the UK says it has granted about 1,700 licenses, 98% of EU applications. This week, France told the UK it was in its best interest to settle the fishing dispute. Clement Beaune, France's Europe minister, also took the challenge to the EU and warned the bloc that should it fail to intervene, France will take their own measures against the UK. Today's direct action expected to take place by French fishermen is believed to be independent of the French government. It is not the first time the fishermen have sought to take control. In April, they blocked lorries carrying fish from British waters to processing centres in France. Then, in May, the British Navy dispatched 2 patrol boats when French boats blockaded the St. Helier harbour in Jersey. The action by French fishermen comes with relations between the two neighbours at their lowest point in decades and days after a dinghy carrying migrants sank in the Channel, claiming 27 lives. Under a deal agreed by Britain and the EU late last year, European fishing vessels can continue to ply UK waters if they apply for new licenses and can prove they operated there in the past. But Paris says dozens of French boats have had their applications to fish the UK's rich waters rejected, an assessment strongly contested by London. France also accuses authorities on Jersey, a self-governing Channel island that depends on Britain for defence, of obstructing its fishermen. The total volumes affected are tiny in terms of overall France-UK bilateral trade. But the issue is politically sensitive and has contributed to growing post-Brexit tensions between Johnson and French President Emmanuel Macron, whose relationship was strained again by Wednesday's migrant disaster in the Channel. Macron has said France would hold off imposing the measures to give dialogue a chance, but French officials have insisted that all options remain on the table. Talks between France's Europe Minister Clement Beaune and Britain's Brexit Minister David Frost have yet to yield a breakthrough.